Should we start?
Yep, let's go.
Cool. So once again, thank you for coming, everyone. We really appreciate you guys coming on the Discord server. It's not easy to navigate, but thanks for coming. So today we have Kenan, Darshil, and Ishan with us. They constitute the tech team of BlueLearn. Darshil is a front end developer, Kenan is the back end developer, and Ishan develops the app. That's pretty much all that I know about these three guys. And yeah, I would just hand over to them to introduce themselves. Darshil, maybe you can go first.
Sure. Hello everyone, my name is Darshil Rathod, and my job as a front-end developer is to mainly convert all the beautiful designs that Vineet and Avril make. And I am also currently a computer engineering student in second year. My college name is SVIT Vasel, and in terms of the stack I currently use, it's React and Next.js. Uh, yeah, that's it. Keenan?
How about Ishan? You can go next since we're on front end. No.
Ishan,
Okay,
maybe
cool.
just
I mean,
yeah, Ishan, try
I
rejoining.
think,
Check your volume input, and then till then, Keenan, you can go ahead.
yeah, cool. So, hey guys, my name's Kenan. I just graduated from computer engineering this year. So, that is from a local college here in Goa. We're based out of Goa. So, right now, working full time, and my role in BlueLearn is I'm the tech lead. So that mainly involves I handle all the backend technologies. I handle also infrastructure. So if for many of y'all who don't know what these terms are, I mainly handle everything that you don't see. So just making sure that the website doesn't crash, network security, things like that. So if any of y'all have any questions, do hit me up and you can keep them ready. Ishan, if you are
Hello.
audible, if you can, yes, we can hear you.
Am I audible now? Yeah,
Yes, yes, go ahead.
great. So my name is Ishan, and I am a part of the mobile app development team here at BlueLearn. And as I said, I basically developed the mobile app for BlueLearn. I am a gap year student. I took a gap year after finishing school earlier this year. And yeah, I work with a lot of technologies. And for mobile app development, I primarily use React Native, and obviously like we link it with the backend that Kenan takes care of. And yeah, that's pretty much what I do at BlueLearn. And yeah, I'd be happy to answer like any questions that we have. This is actually the first time that I'm taking part in this, in an event like this, so I'm really excited to hear all of you.
Maybe you guys can just run us through the process, like what happens, how do you code, what softwares and stuff do you guys use, and everything
Sure.
from start to end.
I'll start from my side.
Sure.
Uh, so initially, once
Also,
the
sorry to interrupt, but if you guys
Mhm.
can also include where did you guys start or how did you learn this stuff, because that's like an FAQ. So, yeah, that would be great.
Sure. I started out last November, I think. I started out with HTML, CSS, and moved on to JavaScript, React. Uh, by the way, I joined BlueLearn last December. And in terms of the process, once the designs are ready from Vineet and Avril, once all the layout is done, colors are added, and final design is given to me, it's my job to uh, basically convert all of that design into code and integrate all the APIs which are made by Kenan. Yeah, Kenan, maybe you can.
Yeah, sure. So my journey began in 11th standard when I had taken bio, but then I took a drop here. I mean, I took a drop from bio because I was not really interested, and I took computer science that time. And I started off with basic C, C++. Then I joined computer engineering. I did not learn much of what I'm doing right now in college, but I took an internship where I made WhatsApp chatbots, which was our previous. Some of y'all might know Hulock. So Hulock was a chatbot, WhatsApp chatbot startup that we had made. So I had coded that in Python. Then I moved that to Node.js, and then we had to create a web interface. So that's when I took up a course on Node.js by Andrew Mead on Udemy. Highly recommend that course. And that's where I learned my basics. And after learning my basics, then I just implemented it in our way. What was our requirement? And ever since then, I've continued, built up my skills. The current tech stack I'm using is a highly scalable. So we use Postgres SQL. That's our database. We're using Node.js, and we use a ton of AWS services. AWS is Amazon Web Services, and these guys provide a lot of different kinds of services. So there's one for emails, for databases, hosting, etc., etc. So yeah, that's my journey in a quick summary. Ishan, you can go ahead.
Yeah. So I pretty much started out around 4 years back, I would say, and I've always been into mobile app development. And 4 years back, when I was in grade ninth, I think I started out with Android native development, which obviously, like, for that you require Android Studio and you code in Java, because Android runs on Java. So that's what I started out with, and I had a lot of fun with it. The good thing about like starting with a native platform was that it allowed me to understand how an app actually works. Like, you must understand that an app has different threads, different interfaces in which different functions take place. To understand that entire architecture, Android was really helpful for me. Gradually afterwards, I wanted to do cross-platform app development where, like, obviously your apps would work on multiple devices, like different OSs, like Android as well as iOS. So that's why I got into React Native, started learning that. So yeah, that's how I like got into React Native around grade 11. I love working on mobile apps and especially social media apps. I like working with apps that have a social component to it. Plus, I really like the product side as well as the design side of things. In terms of the process that I follow generally while developing an application, uh, it's always from ground up. Like, whenever I get a design from Vineet or Avril, who take care of the designing part at BlueLearn, I would always like go into reverse engineering flow, try to figure out the most basics of thing, try to set up the most basic of variables and stuff. And it's always good to start small, set up a good basic structure of the app so that it's very much scalable when you reach a certain point. So that's generally how I start out. And yeah, that's generally the process that I follow. And obviously then I like go on to integrate APIs, which is obviously like the secondary step after you've implemented some very basic structure of the app. And I reach out to Kenan for that, like get information of different type of params we need to use, different APIs that we have. And yeah, that is pretty much the process that we follow in developing the app. And then there's obviously unit testing, there's bug fixes, and that's obviously like the tertiary stage of the app. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Cool. So let's start taking questions for the next 20-30 minutes. You guys can request to speak. I'm calling a few of you on the stage right now. Um, yeah, you should go ahead.
Alright. So, good evening, everyone. My name is Ayush Goyal, and I'm a first year BTech student. I joined VIT Chennai recently, and I'm pursuing computer science and engineering from VIT Chennai. So, I have been learning coding since class ninth, and I have quite a good grip over Python, and I have started learning C++ as well. So I have an app idea in my mind, and I want to make it myself, but I'm not sure that which platform should I start with, because I started learning Android Studio and I feel something wrong about Android Studio, the way I am trying to make a app that can actually be posted on Play Store. So I wanted to know that what should be my path to make that app work or to actually put that app on Play Store. So which method should I go? Like I should start with these native platforms like Android Studio, or I should start by coding. I have actually no idea about app development.
I guess I'll take that because it's kind of relevant to me. So, yeah, could you like kind of specify what specifically is the problem that you were like facing with Android Studio? Was it like confusing, or were there specific things that were not working?
I would say that Android Studio, I find it somewhat easy and difficult both because like I don't think that I will be able to post an app from Android Studio onto Play Store. Uh, I just feel that it's the wrong way where I'm going, or maybe I'm just on a totally correct path. I have no idea about it.
Hmm. Uh, okay, I'll start there. To be perfectly honest, I don't think like if you follow the right practices, you will definitely not have a problem with Android Studio. And it is definitely built for scalability, so it's 100% possible to develop good quality scalable apps through Android Studio. And in fact, like it is perhaps the best way of developing mobile applications. But then again, if you're just starting out, I would recommend you to like check out some cross platforms forums as well. Now, if you have somewhat of a grip, like obviously, since your app would want to target like a large audience, kind of like including both iOS and Android users, if that is your target, then you should definitely look into cross-platform apps. If you're just starting out, then you can look at React Native because JavaScript is very, very simple to grip in the beginning. And if like since you have some experience with Python, to be honest, in the backend as well, you will be able to use frameworks like Django and stuff. So the good part is that if you use JavaScript using React Native in the front end, it would be really straightforward for you to get started. If you already have some level of expertise in Android Studio, you can also look at Flutter, which is a great plugin. You integrate that into Android Studio, and your app becomes cross-platform. It works on both Android as well as iOS. So you can explore either of those paths if you want to create a cross-platform app. But like as far as like methodology is concerned, I would say Android Studio is perfectly good. If you just want to target Android, it is a perfectly good framework. The problem only is that whenever you want to go to iOS, you would have to code your iOS app in Swift. That's Xcode in app on a Mac. So that's the only disadvantage. Other than that, you would not face any problems with Android Studio. If you're looking to start out, Google has this great certification program where you can earn a certificate for an associate Android developer. Now, although that certificate is fairly expensive and like it's mostly used for getting good jobs and stuff, you can choose to do that, but it's a little expensive. The good part is that the study material that Google offers for that development certification is free. It's available to everyone, and that study material is really straightforward. It's practical. It doesn't go into stuff that you would not need in app development. So that study material is actually freely available on Google's website, developer website, and it will be really helpful. Plus, the best thing that I like about Android Studio, which I've not found in any other community, is that Android is very, very responsive. Even on Stack Overflow, I literally remember the names of people from Google who would reply to any question within minutes. Their response is very good. Their development community is very good. So you'll never have a lack of resources in studying Android. That's an advantage. Plus the Google developers YouTube channel, I think it's the best resource. I think the best free resource available online in the world, because they have a lot of great resources. Like Google offers tutorials in TensorFlow, machine learning, Android Studio, and so much more. All of that is available freely, and that's where I learned Android Studio from. So it would be a great place to start. Yeah,
That pretty much clears everything, and I have a very straightforward idea, and that was a really good answer. I have a small little question that I know how to use Adobe XD, and I have worked on making UIs. So should I first make an Adobe XD UI for the app, or I should just start with Android Studio?
uh, I would definitely suggest you to do some level of prototyping either through Adobe XD or through Figma, because when you have a prototype in front of you, it's actually much simpler. Like I before like working at BlueLearn, when I used to like develop apps individually, a lot of times before I worked at companies, I handle the design myself. So it like earlier I felt like since I'm doing the design myself, why shouldn't I like directly design things while working in XML? But it's not feasible, and unless you have like a super good computer, it will never like working with XML and reloading it and like seeing it on the screen every time will never be as easy as it would be designing elements on Figma. So at some point you're going to get irritated with like designing things on XML. There's a different level of satisfaction to designing something on Figma and then replicating the exact thing on Android. It is just really satisfying. So yeah, definitely like design separately, work on that, and then move on to development.
Uh, Thank you very much. You have like reduced my confusion very much. Thank you very much.
I'm glad to help.
Yeah, so there is no right answer for that, honestly, because there are a ton of backend technologies, all have a specific use case, and all are uh, pretty good to get the job done, at least initially when you're starting off. Uh, you might have to little think about that later on when maybe you're scaling up to a level wherein you need to integrate microservices, Kubernetes, Docker, things like that. But just I think the easiest way to go is bare bones JavaScript because many people do come from front end to back end. So if you go with Node.js, you at least have the familiarity with the language. So yeah.
Yep. Hi. So this is Pushkar. I'm currently in the United States, and I have a question. Like, I have zero coding experience, but I am like very much interested to learn Flutter. I mean, I recently developed my love for programming. So, what would you suggest as a complete beginner? And the second question is it possible to learn from scratch in the next year or two?
I think
All right.
Ishan, you can take that again. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, Ishan.
yeah, 1 year or 2 year is actually a really long timeline. If you like focus on it, you would not even need I would say 3 months or 4 months to get properly started with developing apps. It's not that difficult, and like uh, the online communities have made it like very easy to get started with Flutter. The development process is almost exactly similar as Android Studio. You just need to get familiar with Android Studio, start working with it. Flutter uses a separate language called Dart, and it's very similar to normal languages like Java and stuff. So just start with Android Studio, get a little bit idea of that. When you integrate the Flutter plugin into Android Studio, you will be able to do the exact same thing. Like the same app would start working cross platform. You will have to make some fixes, but it's nearly the same thing. So yeah, get started there.
Perfect. I mean, because I don't have any experience with coding, like zero. I'm from industrial engineering. So is it still possible?
Yeah, in that case, like start out with very basics like data structures, variables, uh, basic languages, object oriented programming. just there's a course called CS50, which CS50, that's the very basics of computers. It's available on edX, and that's where I would recommend anyone who's just looking to get into programming to get started. Although it's very basic, you'll find it very easy at first, but I still think it's a good area to clear up your basics and then move on to proper programming.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Ishan, and all the best, BlueLearn team.
Thank you.
Yeah, my question is to Ishan actually. So, what are few of the libraries which you use over React Native?
I use a library called Redux, which is great for state management, global state management in a React Native app. It is almost essential if you work with React or React Native. Other than that, in libraries, the React Native has a Material UI library, which has some great components. I use that. Um, Apart from that, we use Axios for handling network calls. We use some very basic libraries, very basic JavaScript libraries, and mm, yeah, that's pretty much all the basic libraries. Other than that,
Yeah, yeah. You
it's
probably use this React navigation also.
yeah,
Yeah,
navigation is.
yeah, navigation. And would you recommend Redux over MobX or normal context, React context?
I prefer Redux over MobX because Redux has a Redux toolkit, which makes it very easy to manage variables. You can do it like you can add everything in a single file and just keep adding states over there. So using Redux toolkit, Redux becomes very easy. That's why I prefer that. But then again, it's a matter of preference.
Cool. Uh, yeah, thanks, man. I I don't have any more questions.
Okay.
Yeah, hello, this is Jaideep. I just wanted to know like companies like Facebook, Google and Uber, they use multiple technologies like C++, some critical functions like into Python, some in Node, some in PHP. Like how this work in an ecosystem, how they actually integrate all this stuff. I wanted to know that. If you can help me with that.
I'll go with it. Okay. So these big companies usually have something known as microservices architecture. Uh, so basically, there are two types of general server architecture which are used. First one is monolithic server, meaning you only have one server, one code file which runs everything. And the second one is microservices based architecture. So in microservices, all your different services such as authentication or maybe booking tickets or sending emails, all of these services are separated as microservices. And the way all of these services talk to each other is via API calls. Those API calls could use any form of transmission such as TCP or UDP or any other internal protocol also as well. Uh, but usually these microservices are independent of one another, meaning you can use JavaScript in one microservice, you can use Java in any other microservice, or even Ruby or Rails or any other uh, programming language or framework, and all of those can uh, talk to each other via simple API calls. So usually these big companies deploy these different microservices and connect everything together, everything with each other. I hope
Okay. So
that's
do
yeah.
they use JSON or GraphQL in reading and writing mechanism to these API calls or any different algorithm or other protocol
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
to call each other with the APIs, right? Services, interaction. So do they use JSON or GraphQL in context of that?
Okay, usually what happens is they talk with an internal protocol which does not require much authentication, because they know that all of these services will be talking with each other and no external user would be able to access them. So what they usually do is maybe go with simple TCP connections, and those are usually REST connections. But usually it doesn't matter if they use GraphQL or REST APIs, but they try to keep the data as minimum as possible, since there will be a lot of back and forth between all these services.
Okay, thanks, man. I just wanted you have helped me.
So can I start?
Mhm. I have time.
I'll be here for another 15 to 20 minutes and I'll be leaving soon.
Yeah, I'm also free. Yeah.
Uh, Hello everyone, I'm Shantanu and I'm second year from Mumbai. I'm studying in Terna Engineering College. After web development, after learning web development, so for the front end, which languages do we need to learn? Means other than web development, do you have any roadmap for that? Because I'm new in learning. I'm new to this web development, any of the course, and I'm also learning.
Okay, I'll take it up. Uh,
Yeah, sure.
so so for front end, you usually start with HTML, CSS, and shift towards a programming language just as JavaScript. Uh, Once you are done with JavaScript, you can take up any framework such as React or Angular. And once you know the basics of a framework like React or Angular, you can start creating projects. So that is the roadmap for front end at least.
Okay. And for backend,
Yeah, so starting off with any programming language will do you good. Now, since you are doing front end, again, I would suggest moving to Node.js will be much easier for you since you will know a little bit of JavaScript. So you can start off with Node.js, learn the basics. I would suggest before starting any type of coding in web development, understand what web development is, understand the internet, understand what HTTP, HTTPS, what TCP, UDP, the OSI model. So you'll get a ton of video resources on this. There's a guy called Nasser on YouTube. So just understand how the internet works, how everything else works, and when you're coding, everything else will make a lot more sense.
thank you so much. For yeah.
Hey, so I have a question with how to mind map for backend and front end architecture before going in development phase.
Yeah, I can take that. So, if you want, if it's a bigger project, there's a tool called Postman. So, Darshil, and Ishan, we extensively use this. So, for when I create the backend APIs, I will use Postman as a testing tool and a way to collaborate with Ishan and Darshil, where I can tell him that, okay, I've added my APIs. They are there in Postman. They can pick it up because those have already been tested, and then you can integrate that directly on your front end. So the quickest way to do that is just test your APIs before integrating. It'll save you a lot more time than just integrating it directly from the front end.
Thank you for the insights.
Hello, how are you? Hello. I am a front-end developer. I am working in React. I created in some project in React, but I have no idea how to work in production. I nearly join a company is an offer letter, Enterprises Mind. He joined me as a junior software engineer, but his project is really work on React.js, but I don't have idea how to work in company. Is joining is 4th October. Give me some suggestions for how to work in production. Hello,
I'll take it up. Okay. Uh,
that is the
okay. Since you have, do you have basic understanding of JavaScript?
yes. I have good understanding of JavaScript and React.js framework also.
Okay.
Good knowledge.
Okay. So you're asking how you can get started building production level apps, right?
So, sir, I am joining my company as of 4 October, but I have no knowledge how to work in the company. That is the project,
Okay.
how to coding
Usually,
and
usually,
logic.
usually when you join a company, you
Yes,
go through an onboarding process in which
yes.
any senior who is already working there will guide you through the entire code base. They'll let you know what exactly do they use in terms of libraries and what architecture do they have, which practices do they follow. So
Okay.
you'll be able to know a lot more during the onboarding. So yeah.
Yes, thank you. I understand. Thank you give me a opportunity for hear me. Thank
Am I audible? Okay, so this is Aryan from Gujarat, and my question is straightforward: that how can we will use our data structure and the algorithms we learn in the college in the development? Because I'm doing development from last year and a half, but I never used it directly data structure and algorithms in the development. So how can we use that? Is it really necessary, or is it just for the cracking the interviews?
So yeah, I can take that. So data structures and algorithm, it's a very robust component. It's a very robust concept also. If you're doing something like say basic Node, if you're doing basic Node.js or React or maybe web development, you might not come across a lot of places where you will use things like that. So don't worry about it because by the end of it, uh, when you get the job done, um, that's what really matters, right? So there will be cases where you will have a problem and you will have to solve it using a maybe little complex logic. So your logic of that you learn from data structures and algorithm, you'll be learning it out, like you'll be implementing it out there.
But I'm using only array. I'm doing last year and a half, but I just used array. Other than I did not use any data structures. So is it I'm right path on the development or I'm going somewhere else?
No, I wouldn't say you're the wrong path at all because as long as you are getting the job done and it is happening efficiently, you don't need to uh, have an overkill and maybe use the data structures.
Okay, so in short, it will going to use in effective solution to solve something in
Sorry.
effective way. So is it data structure will going to solve a problem in effective way?
So yeah, again, back to the main point being, data structure is kind of overkill for simple tasks. So you don't need to use things like maybe linked list if the array will do the job, right? So
Okay.
maybe yeah, like high level production level apps, you would use those concepts. Uh, yeah, but for most cases you won't. You won't. But what data structures and algorithm will really help you with is logical reasoning, which will finally help you understand why. It'll help you understand arrays also better because it's internally concept wise the same.
Okay, thanks for it. Really, I'm looking for this. Okay, thanks.
Actually, if
No.
I can add to that, I think like actually data structures really do help at a later stage. Like the basic theories of stuff like graphs like breadth first search, depth first search is really good for navigation apps. Then Dijkstra is good for navigation apps. Then if you learn about like graph theory, it's really helpful in social media apps, building an algorithm to show personalized recommendations. So it's not like really applicable directly as Keenan said, but it's definitely helpful in the future.
So thanks.
Oh, I am familiar, and my question is little bit same like Arin. I have learned JavaScript before, 5 months ago, but I don't understand how to solve DSI with JavaScript, or like yeah, kicks questions and like that many more. Hello,
Okay. JavaScript is a very high level language, and
am I audible?
yeah, you are audible. Viraj, am I audible?
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay. JavaScript is a very high level language. So,
Mhm. Do you recognize my question?
okay, I think Fenil is not able to hear us.
Yes, we can hear it. So my question is, I have learned JavaScript before 5 months ago, but I can't solve DSA questions with a JavaScript. So should I learn another language like Java or Python, or should I solve the DSA with JavaScript?
Kenan, I think you'll have to answer it. Fenil is not able to hear me.
Yeah, sure. Hey Fennel. So mainly, you should not be using, again, as Darshil said, JavaScript is a high-level language. You would want to use something like C, C++, Java, maybe Python even, if you are dealing with data structures and algorithms. Uh, One, because it's a little easier to manage, because JavaScript it's a front-end framework by the end of it. So it does get a little, it has its limitations. So my suggestion would be, if data structures and algorithms is your goal, or that is something that you want to dive deep into, or you want to create something using that, then definitely go with something like C, C++. C++ is pretty easy to learn as well. So you could go ahead with that.
Thank you. That's all. Thank you. That's all my questions.
Hi, am I audible? So my question is to Ishan. So Ishan, if I want to build a scalable application for mobile platform, will you suggest what tech stack will you suggest? Is it Android Studio or React Native?
Both of them are like perfectly scalable. Like you will not face a problem with either of those. It is just a question if you are more familiar with JavaScript or Java, and whether you want to build only for Android or for Android as well as iOS. There are great apps that are used by millions of people built through either of these platforms. Like both of them offer those kind of services. So it's just a matter of preference. Like none of them will cause you a problem in terms of scalability. Both will scale very easily if you code it properly.
Okay, so I know React, and I created some mini projects on it. So if I just want to build an application for an Android, for Android, will you still suggest me React Native? If I don't want to, I mean to say that if I don't want to build a cross-platform application,
Hmm.
will you still suggest me React Native, or will you suggest me Android Studio?
Since you like already know React.js, transitioning to React Native will be like a piece of cake. It is nearly the same platform, similar libraries, similar coding structures, just a few more additions. So React Native would still be much easier for you to get started with, and it builds good apps. If your app is doing something very high performance, like that, something that requires a lot of computational power, like if it is some kind of a game, or if it uses real time maps, or like some kind of weird things like real time video calling, and like some very complicated stuff that needs a lot of computing power, a lot of RAM. In that case, Android Studio will be better, because native uh, platforms built apps generally perform very fast. But if that's not the case, and I think it's unlikely, if that's not the case, then I would still recommend React Native, because it will be much easier for you to get started.
Okay. So my another question is that if if in 2021, if you had to start your Android development journey, will you start from Java or Kotlin?
Oh, definitely Kotlin. I think it's Kotlin is increasing support day by day. People are
Okay.
actually like Google is encouraging Kotlin. So yeah, definitely.
Okay. And just last question. So as a developer, I know that I suck at design skills,
Yeah.
design and UI skills. So
Hmm.
I tried very much to improve it, but but yeah, but I was not able to do so much in that. So any suggestion on to how I can improve my design skills?
Uh,
Which tools I can use?
there are some great ways to increase your design skills. There's a lot of ways you can get started. You can learn about material UI techniques. But at the end of the day, it's about your natural calling. If it's not designed, then don't force it. Like any huge app, any big scale app or website you see, it's not built by one person, because that's the reality. One person cannot do everything. I don't know shit about backend. That's why Kenan handles it. And like uh, Vineet and Avril are much better than me at designing. That's why they handle that. So I would suggest, like, instead of like forcing yourself to do everything, it's better to find people who complement your skills, so that you can build something good together.
Okay, so thank you, Ishan, for taking your time out to answer my queries, and thanks to all the Blue Learn members for attending for organizing this meetup.
Hello, I'm from Bangalore. I'm Bhunesh. Um, I basically come. I don't come from computer science background. I finished my biology actually, but I wanted to start learning like coding and programming, those skills like web development, app development. So where should I start with?
Sorry, I couldn't. Could you just quickly repeat? I didn't get that.
So I'm not from a computer science background. I don't know. I don't know anything about like coding and all. But I want to start with my web development and app development career. Like, so where should I start with? What should I learn? Like,
Okay, great. So yeah, this is a very common question. Also, I had it myself when I started initially. Uh, the best way I found out was take up a project. Think about something that I want to make this website and I want to put it up on when I go to www dot Kenan.com. It's something should open up. That is my end goal. So what you do is there are multiple resources. You can take, I think Ishan also named a few. There's this course, there's this instructor called Andrew Mead on Udemy. He teaches, he'll teach you back end, he'll teach you front end, so there are a ton of resources. So what I would suggest you do
okay.
is
understand the internet first, understand again what HTTP is, what HTTPS is, the OSI model. So what this will help you understand is how the internet exactly works. That when I open a website, what actually happens in the background. When you understand that, then you will have a clear understanding of exactly what you will be doing, or what when you say you add a button, you click it, it goes to the back end. What exactly is happening? You'll have a much broader knowledge in that, and your code also will finally be. It'll be much. It'll be a better output. So definitely, and if not even a course, you can. There are tons of mini projects you can take on. I feel the best way to learn is taking up projects. So just maybe you can build an Instagram clone, maybe you can build a Twitter clone. There are tons of resources out there. So just Google it, you'll find it, and start working on your mini projects.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Cool, guys. Let's wrap it up then.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks for coming, Darshil. Thanks for coming, Kenan. Thanks for coming, Ishan. This is great. You guys helped out a lot of people. We still cannot take about 20 questions from people. There are many requests. So what you guys can do is maybe Darshil, Kenan, and Ishan, you can mention your social profiles and people can reach out to you there.
Yeah, I'll add that. I have to add it to no mic, right?
Yeah, just put it in the chat. Put it in no mic. If the audience cannot find no mic, and if you're on your phone, then just swipe right from the left corner of your screen. You'll find and scroll a bit. You'll find no mic over there. You can find all of their social links over there. Darshil, you have anything to add?
Sorry.
Nothing. You're done. But I thought you want to say something.
Oh.
Cool. So if you guys, everyone whose questions haven't been answered, just go to no mic. Their social, you'll find their socials over there, and then you can reach out to them. Cool. On that note, we'll wrap this up. I'll just introduce if this is the first time for you to come into BlueLearn's Discord server, if you were on a WhatsApp only, then we'd just like to tell you ki this is where most of our stuff happens. We don't allow you guys to chat on WhatsApp, but we allow you guys to chat over here. So if you're learning programming, if you're learning anything, programming, development, design, art, photography, video editing, marketing, finance, astronomy, anything, right? Go to these channels on the left side of your screen. If you're on your phone, then again swipe right from the left corner of your screen, and you'll be able to see a panel which lists all these channels in order. So yeah, go to any of these channels and you can chat over there. You can learn stuff. There are also non-skills channel. There's memes, there's movies, anime. So if you guys are interested in any of those, go over there as well. For now, we'll end the session. But if you want to continue talking about development, coding, and stuff, just move over to Coding VC right now. We will, and everyone can just talk with each other, and you guys can figure stuff out. So yeah, go to Coding VC right now. We will see you guys later. Kenan, Darshil, Ishan, you guys can leave if you want to, or you can stay as well.
Awesome. Great job, Viraj. Thanks. Big shout out to you. Well organized, and see you guys soon.
Yep. Thank you everyone for coming.
Yeah, thanks for coming. Go to Coding VC, guys. We'll see you there. You guys can talk with like-minded people who want to do development, who have doubts or any of that. Once again, telling you how to go to Coding VC. Just swipe right from the left corner of your screen if you are on your phone. Scroll a bit, you'll find something known as Coding VC over there. Click on it, and you'll see the join option. If you're on your PC, then there should be a left panel on the screen. So just keep scrolling here and there, and you'll find Coding VC. I'll close this stage once everyone is in Coding VC, so that you can talk to people. If there are any moderators in the audience, then please head over to Coding VC so that just ensure no one is screaming in their mics or something. There's not a lot of noise. Go over there, maybe even trigger a conversation or something. There's still about 50 people over here. Guys, head over to Coding VC. Ask questions. Ask how do I start at front end? How do I start at back end? How do I learn? Or literally anything, right? Go over there and get your questions answered. There are about 30 people there. This is your chance. Go there and get some knowledge. There's still 40 people here, guys. Head over to Coding VC. That is where the event is over. Head over to Coding VC. You'll learn quite a lot of stuff over there. People are talking about development, coding in general over there. So just go over there and see you later. Cool. I will close the stage in like 2 minutes. You guys can go to Coding VC right now and we'll see you there.